P. Diddy. Spiked drinks and Kanye implicated. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I've analysed before why P. Diddy is a narcissist, and the allegations continue to mount with regard to his behaviour and the perpetration of what I call the Hollywood sickness. Another video has made an appearance that is from a lady called Nikki Heaton. And in this video, she provides further evidence based upon her own experience. She explains that she was attending a party that was hosted by P. Diddy and Kanye West. And she starts by explaining, immediately I felt like there was something weird, because there's always drinks, there's always the vodka and the mixer. It's just like sitting on the table. But we walk in and immediately Diddy hands me a drink, Kanye hands Lauren a drink. And we're like, that's weird. Why are they serving us? I don't like to drink. I don't like alcohol. I don't like the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel sick. But my manager was with me, and I understand by the manager she's referring to Lauren Piscotta, and is explaining that they have attended this event. And quite rightly, ordinarily, your drinks wouldn't be pre-mixed. They'd be there for you to ask for a drink to be made, or you could make it yourself with the various bottles set up, a bottle of vodka, a bottle of gin, etc. There might be bartenders available that you can go to and ask for a drink. And the fact is that the hosts of this party, P. Diddy and Kanye West, already offer them a drink. And Nikki finds this strange. Immediately, she is alert to the suggestion that there might be something untoward here. However, she thinks to herself, well, hang on a second. If someone famous hands you something to drink, even if you don't want it, she states, just like hold it and pretend, because you don't want to seem rude. And of course, this is often the case why people who are victims of narcissists become the victim of a narcissist, because in many instances they don't see the red flags. But even where they do, emotional thinking and the corruption of certain empathic and narcissistic traits causes them to behave in a particular way. So here, the exhibition of decency causes her to think, well, I'll just hold on to the drink. She doesn't drink it. But even then her thought process is, no, don't reject it. Hold on to the drink because, hey, someone famous has just given you a drink. It'd be rude to hand it back. She explains that it was a vodka cranberry. And she was like, oh, that's gross. And she explains that she's just standing there with her back against the console and she's just pretending to sip this drink. So there she is. Her manager has been given a drink and she's been handed this drink. And she says it was gross, and her manager was sitting across on this couch with Kanye's cousin. And there were some other girls there. And immediately, Nikki, could recognise there was something wrong. She said, I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what to do, but I just felt like there was something not right, but I didn't know what to do. I was only 19 years old. I'd just left home a year ago, and I was new in the industry. I didn't know what to do, but I knew there was something wrong. Basically, I was standing there pretending to sip this drink and my manager was sitting across from me. And if you know about my past and us being together, she's very much reserved. And when people always say, oh, she's such a bitch and she has a resting bitch face. And it's not, because she's actually got severe social anxiety. She actually just wants to sit in the corner and tap on her phone and not really talk to anyone. So she's not a bitch. She's just very shy. And I can see her across the room holding her drink, and it was weird. Because I know, as I was standing there just kind of wondering what's going on, Diddy kept looking at me and Kanye kept looking at Lauren. And they were exchanging glances. And I'm like, they're watching me, strangely. I'm, okay, let me pretend to drink, like I'm not actually doing it. And that seemed to make them happy by me pretending to join in And I immediately recognised that there's something that's been placed in this drink. There's something that's in this drink, and I didn't know what to do. My manager was across the room, but close enough, but not next to me, so I couldn't whisper to her, but I wanted to tell her, hey, don't drink this. There's something wrong with it. But I couldn't, so I reach for my phone, and I start to type, and then Kanye takes the phone out of my hand, and he asks, who are you texting? You don't need to text anyone, we're having a party. There, her actions, of course, are seen as some form of threat to control by possibly tipping people off or involving other people. The environment needs to be controlled in terms of the hosts and the young girls included. She says, oh, okay, and he puts my phone on one of the speakers. And I'm thinking, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. And she says, I see my manager take a sip of the drink. And I think, what do I do? And then I see her take another 2 sips out of this little vodka cranberry cup. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? I then see her face flush, and all of a sudden I look over and she's speaking really loud and making jokes. And I'm like, what's this? This isn't her. She doesn't make jokes. She's ordinarily terrified of people. She doesn't even talk. And already it's hitting her 100%. And she says, I just knew that the drinks were all laced with something. And she starts like almost being belligerent. A little bit, but not like in a crazy way, just like enjoying herself. And I'm like, that's not her. That's not her. She doesn't even want to be here. Like, this is weird. And all of a sudden she dismisses the studio host. She's like, you can leave, you can leave. And I'm like, oh God, what's going on? And the girls file out. And they go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm having to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? Well, I go and get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn, and my manager is walking out. And I'm like, no, where are you going? I'm already seeing people like this. And let me just say, if you wonder what do I have to gain, just let me ask you, what do I have to gain? I'm in a farm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for clout, because who gives a rat's ass about me? So why would I lie about this? This has been 9.5 years since this has happened to me. Why would I go on about it other than I'm wanting people to understand? So I start to see my manager leave, and I'm like, where are you going? And she responds saying, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she says, it's all right, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out, and all of a sudden, I realise that I'm in the studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still see everything. And I realise that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye. I think to myself, God help me, what do I do? And as my eyes were closed, this is going to sound weird, because I bet a lot of you are wondering, like, how the fuck did you get out of this situation? My eyes were closed, and I prayed, and I said, God help me, what do I do? And it was like clear as day. I heard this voice in my head, and it didn't make any sense. I heard, go towards them. And I was like, oh yeah, great. The one time I asked God for help, Satan answers, because why on earth would I go towards these 2 predators who are sexually assaulting me? Like, why would I do that? And then all of a sudden it clicked. My back was up against a glass wall. I could not go any further back. That was the only exit, he said. Go towards them. They were already drunk. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward, and it like threw them off balance. Like they were like, oh, you know. And like they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And in that moment, they did that. I reached behind my back, I pulled the door, and I slipped out grabbing my clothes, and I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black, and I sat there for like 25 minutes, just like crying, like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm texting my manager, and she's not answering. And eventually, and I don't think I'm supposed to say this next part because it could hurt her case, but basically everything she said is true, because what I saw next, I saw it. I was the only one who wasn't drugged. I was the only one who didn't drink their drink. So I saw what happened next and who was involved. And that's why I'm part of this lawsuit as a witness and like named in it. It's just that, I eventually got out, and I got both of us out and got us in an Uber. And she obviously didn't remember anything because she was drugged and I wasn't. And apart from the aspect of, looking for help, and they turned away, the only other thing that really, really bothers me is what about all those other girls that were there? Those other 9 girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there. I know none of them got out. I know none of them got saved that night. And I'm like, do they even remember? Do they even know what happened to them? That is the recollection of Nikki Heaton and the experience that she says took place at a party that she attended with Diddy and Kanye West. Once again, you can make your own minds up as to the credibility of this story. But if it is accurate, it implicates Kanye West in the behaviour also. And it also reinforces the manner by which P. Diddy would look to assert control over people by spiking their drinks, rendering them incapable, affecting their memory, and then engaging in sexual abuse of them. Hitherto, people have spoken about how the fact that if you didn't drink, they would kick you out of the party, but it would appear that she got away with it because she made the pretense of drinking and then managed to escape before anything happened. It appears that there's possibly more that's gone on that she hasn't detailed, and that might be because she's a witness in the lawsuit to what happened and has provided evidence in the lawsuit. It seems like she must have witnessed more actually go on. But once again, this is another witness whose evidence, if you believe it, demonstrates that there is the activity of a narcissist who appears to have acted in tandem with another narcissist to engage in the application of abuse. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.